Yeah, it started on some neighborhood stuff, like how like mixtapes, like Mixmaster Spade, rest in peace, and Toddy T, like they would flip Run DMC songs or LL Cool J songs, like whoever the first rappers was, and incorporate homies from the hood and different neighborhoods into their songs. So that's how I got into rap. So I used to do the same thing on my street. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun at first, and the homies was clowning and getting high and drunk and all of that. And that's just something that we did to pass the time. But some people was fly at it. You know what I'm saying? So I always used to tell stories in elementary school. I knew how to draw real good. I knew how to write short stories and poetry for my mama, rest in peace. I used to write her, love letters or Valentine cards or Easter. Like I used to even charge, like I was so good at it in my elementary school. My classmates used to give me a quarter or 50 cents to make them a little greeting card for this holiday or for their mama birthday or for Valentine's Day and shit. So I knew I had a gift back then, but I didn't know what to do with it until rap came, and I was like, oh, okay, there it is, right there. So it was like love at first sight when I heard it.
Yeah, man, and you figure back at that time in that era, man, Black conscience, man, was very popular. A lot of these young people don't know during that period, Black conscience, man, most of the hip hop was conscious. So was it easy?
That's where it started out.
Yeah, did that make it easy for you to transition in? Because you've always been very much, man, anybody that knows about your music knows it's heavily rooted in Nation of Islam.
Right. That's not how I started, though. I started on some Too Short, grimy, corrupt content, subject matter. Me and my homeboy, who I'm here with right now, he's part of manager of this lounge. My homie Wood, L Wood. We really got in our first little commercial rap gig by winning a St. Ives beer contest. So I wasn't, my first raps was, it wasn't, and that's how I met DJ Pooh, because DJ Pooh was the judge. He was the judge of the St. Ives rap contest. So this is before King T, and then Cube and all the people that started getting on to the St. Ives commercials, that doing them little St. Ives rap commercials. Before that all happened, me and my homie Wood and my other homeboy Lauren Seabree from Compton, he did the beat. We won that St. Ives contest when they was trying to first come out with St. Ives and make it popular among the ghettos, the Black community and shit. They had to do it with rap. So I was won that rap contest. Me and my homie Wood, we did a rap for a St. Ives contest, and DJ Pooh was the judge. So I met Pooh through that situation right there. So I wasn't on conscious time at that time.
Oh wow, man! You know what? Actually, so that commercial, that St. Ives commercial that you had back in the day, that was part of a contest?
Yeah. It was a contest, and part of the prize of the contest is your song would get aired. They would use that as a commercial, and you would win a recording contract. Like it was worth a few $1,000s in some studio time and this and that. But that went to somebody else. Like we kind of waived that because once I met Pooh, then we was talking off the record, and we started a relationship based on that.
Oh, really? So your first record deal came about through DJ Pooh then?
Yeah. Through Pooh and through my homeboy Solo. My homie Cam and Solo. So he's Solo is Franklin now on Grand Theft Auto. On that video
I
game.
know.
So
I'm very familiar with Big Solo. Yeah. So let me ask you this, man. So when did it come about, man? Did they come at you and say, hey, you know what, Cam, we want to record a full-length album on you? Like, how did all that come about?
No, well, that was that St. Ives thing just introduced me and Pooh. And like I said, Solo later on, because I went to school with Solo. We went to Locke High School together. You know what I'm saying? So Solo and my cousin Layback, my homie Lil D from 1180 East Coast, my cousin Randy Rand, from Compton. So we was already doing our little street thing, making our little street money and buying turntables and mics and all of that. But when we had won that contest, that kind of let us know we could actually do this and make money. So we kind of started investing in that. And Solo was already dealing with my homie Jess, Big Jess from 11-8. And he was already his family was in the music business. And then my homie great Mike Mo like Watts. So we all kind of just squatted up, you know what I'm saying? And I was kind of like the mouthpiece of the crew because, you know, they seen that I had the skills to do that, you know, to do this craft. So we put our little street money behind that, and we put an album together independent. And when we was working on that album at Echo Sound Studios, that was in Los Feliz or where that, you know, it don't exist no more. But Cube was up there. Ice Cube was up there. So Solo had already kind of been prepping him and courting him and, you know, mentioning me off and on or whatever on some other time. And we just happened to be at the same studio at the same time while he was recording, I think, America's Most Wanted or something. He might have been recording something, Yo-Yo or something. And he came to the, you know, next door to the studio and listened to what we had going on. And he was like, man, you know, I'm starting my own label, man, called Street Knowledge Records, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm looking for artists, you know what I'm saying? If you're interested, this and that, I'm like, yeah, let's talk, let's do it. So that's what started my relationship with Cube, and then right after that, he was filming on Boys in the Hood movie. So my first little dealings with him was Colorblind. It was first Colorblind, the record Colorblind with Threat and JD and King T on his I forgot what album that was, but my first solo album, my first solo single was Every Single Weekend on the Boys in the Hood movie soundtrack.
Wow, man! And back then, soundtracks was huge. Still are.
Oh yeah, I never. Yeah, that was the biggest check. That's what made me fall in love with it. I already loved it, but I got $25,000 for Boys in the Hood. Like, so Cube made that happen. You know, me and him bumped heads on some personal business. You know what I'm saying? It involved a little money situation too, but it was more a personal thing that we resolved. But he looked out. He put me on. He put me on that music thing. The first check I ever seen from rapping was $25,000 for one song. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Cube
man.
made that happen. Yeah, and that was in 1990. That was way back in 1990. I was unknown and did one little record and got 25 G's. Yeah, my mama kicked me out. She kicked me out for rapping, talking about you better get you a real job. I brought that check back to her and her jaw dropped. She put her head down. I was like, here, this yours. She's like, I can't take that. I can't take that. Fucked her head. I love her. God be pleased with her, but yeah.
Hey, I bet your mom's let you back in the house quickly, didn't she?
Yeah, not even that. I was already gone. Shit, I got 25 G's. I got my own spot now.
Yeah, for real, man. You know, and let's talk about that, man. So what happened from there, man? What was the next move after that, man? You on this hot, because that was a huge movie. So you on this hot soundtrack, man. You got everything going on. And at that time, Cube was known as, like, Cube was the man back then. What happened after that, man?
He was y'all, that launched my career. Like, you know, I was at the same time, that's when I was getting serious about the nation and my content was changing. Because if you listen to my Every Single Weekend, you can hear the hood griminess, but then you hear me kind of dropping kind of conscious little seeds in the record. So I was making my transition right there, my personal, you know, spiritual transition right there. So that Cube wanted me to keep it on the street time, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, nah, I can't do that. I'm on this right now, and he respected it, you know what I'm saying? So he let me do my thing, but they didn't really know how to promote it and market it. That's why Cube wasn't really really too much participating in my first album, because he didn't really know. Like, he knew the gangster rap thing. He knew how to go hard and push, and he had all them niggas in his pocket. But I couldn't promote that. I couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I turned down millions of dollars just to push this line that I've been pushing for 30 years. I could have been a billionaire right now, like the rest of them. You know, I was, you know, no diss to them, but I was more experienced and wiser, and I could have been super paid, but I knew that would have contaminated and hurt my people, you know, more than it would help them. And I would have gained personally, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. So I lost people at an early age, and I knew that money ain't the solution for shit. It's loving your people and proving that you with them and you willing to suffer with them and suffer for them. So that's the page that I know I'm going left with the combo, but that's why I pushed the line that I had pushed.
No, that's cool. That's the stuff that people want to know. You know what I mean? That's the reality of everything, the gravity of everything, because money is just a short-term solution, but we still got to deal with our eternity. You know what I mean? We spiritual people by nature.
Right.
You know, we spiritual people by nature.
Exactly.
So, not to talk, you know, so we got this whole situation, man. Let me ask you this, because it's funny, because Cube for a long time, man, he was riding with the nation. Were you a big influence on that?
Yeah, I gotta be humble, but yeah, God made me a key instrument in that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So Cube was already conscious, but as far as the Nation of Islam part, you know, God blessed me to help put him all the way on in that area, and he put me all the way on his music. So it was a mutual respect and a mutual benefit. He put me all the way on his music shit. You know what I'm saying? He did that. But he couldn't go too far with it because he don't control the music industry. The Zionist Jewish power structure controls that. And unfortunately, what I'm into is anti-Satan, is anti kind of that wicked influence that a lot of them have. You know what I'm saying? So that put him in a compromising position, but you know, I didn't care. Like, you know, I know I'm just here for a few years. You know, I'm talking about life. Life is short, and I'd rather just deal a big blow to Satan than personally just go for self and enjoy me and my little family, and we can have our little luxuries while I see my people starving and going through hell. I just couldn't do it because like I said, I lost loved ones, not just I lost loved ones at an early age, and I know money can't bring that back, and money can't heal that void and ease that pain. So I know the pain of loss. So, you know, when I had the opportunity to use my voice to speak into the pain of my people, I'd rather do that instead of trying to go for self on some money shit.
Exactly. You know, since we going there, man, that's an excellent segue, man. I've noticed a lot lately, man. I wanted to get your opinion on this, man. We had, like we talked about earlier, conscious rap was really moving, man. At one time, man, you know, we had the whole movement where brothers were sporting the African medallions, man. You know, it wasn't, you know, these records, man, we wasn't putting out records, man, calling our sisters out their name, or, you know, disrespecting women and everything. Do you think, man, it's been a conspiracy, man, to dumb everything down to the mass? Because I noticed, man, back in the day, it was an embarrassment to have a crackhead in the family. Now you got people talking about openly how they take drugs, how they do this and do that. Do you think all this stuff is being manufactured, man, to destroy our children?
Of course it is. It's being manufactured by the people that own and control the industry. And it's interesting that you even said that about those of us that call each other bitches and all of that, like Cube and Snoop, them and my brothers. I love them. They helped me a lot in life, not just in the music, in life. But they was some of the you know, the strongest tools that these false Zionist, you know, powers used to deal with us like that. And just think about that, like the word bitch. If you calling our own sisters and women bitches, that's really, that disrespect is the equivalent. You wouldn't keep on saying even to yourself. You wouldn't refer to, if you from a Crip neighborhood, you're not gonna go publicly and be talking about them slobs. You know what I'm saying? You know, slobs ain't shit but hoes and tricks, or, you know what I'm saying? A slob is a slob, like, you know what I'm saying? So, or a ricket is a ricket. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same level of disrespect. You're not gonna call them that, a male that. Why are you calling your own women bitch? You know what I'm saying? It's the same level of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But when I say regular logic, stuff like this is too, you know, and it mess up your bag, because your bag is coming from these people that's our enemies. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I see this regular logic. My logic is different. My logic is different, and I got the nuts to say it because they can't scare me from not saying it. So it seems like I'm too reckless. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hard to deal with. No, I know the principles of suffering black people, male and female. I go hard on us, but I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you prostitute us. You know what I'm saying? No more than once, I'm going to make sure you know better, and then I'm going to study you once I make sure you know better. Or you still doing that? All right, I'm going to have to get on your neck. I'm going to have to do something behind closed doors.
Exactly,
you know
man. So let me ask you this, Cam. What do you think, man, like, do you believe, man, that this whole agenda, man, because we got a lot of stuff going on now, man. We got this coronavirus thing happening, man. We just have, like, it's almost like society is decaying right now. like really, like this is almost like a movie. I thought about it the other day. I said, okay. I woke up and I heard my son playing one of those songs that we just mentioned, and I'm listening to the lyrics of the song. And then I hear my wife, she watching TV, I hear the news. I'm like, man, this is like a movie right now, because I would have never thought in 2020, back in the day, that, when I looked at the future, that we would have the dumbing down of rap in a world literally on the brink of collapse.
So the coronavirus, this is just my opinion. Now I'm just speaking opinions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy prover. I can show and prove conspiracies. Just the term conspiracy theorist is like, niggas don't even know what that means. Go get a dictionary and look up the word, not you, but people that like to throw that shit. Oh, you conspiracy theorist. Everything ain't conspiracy. Everything is a goddamn conspiracy. A racist conspiracy. Go look at the dictionary. Go get a dictionary and look up the definition of the word conspiracy before you ever throw that word out there again like that. This coronavirus is a money grab. It's a power money grab. You know what I'm saying? Just like the 9/11 Twin Towers or whatever, we're not going to agree to submit and go along with the so-called New World Order agenda or white supremacist agenda or whatever on our own. They know that it has to be based on fear. Fear makes us unite and cooperate. Nobody is talking about the natural cures, the natural recovery, which is ginger and garlic and silver and turmeric and lemon, like in hot tea and sunlight and vitamin C. Like, the cure is in nature. But the money grab is pharmaceutical industry. They pushing new vaccines. They panicking you so you can go purchase new vaccines, which is actually going to poison and depopulate the earth, the population even more. So they're not talking about none of the hundreds of thousands of people that recovered and what they did to recover. What did they use? What did they take? Oh, you went home and everybody, such and such got the virus and such got the virus. Okay. What was the solution? Oh, they told you to do what? They told you to go home and isolate yourself and good luck. Like, nigga, what? That's it? Like, that's gonna scare the shit out of the average person that's watching TV. You know what I'm saying? So with us, the Nation of Islam, and just conscious black people in general, black and brown and red, like, the solutions is in nature. They can't patent nature. The Food and Drug Administration, I know I'm talking long. The Food and Drug Administration can't patent nothing in nature. They're trying to sell you drugs. They're trying to sell you vaccines. And that's more damage and more, poison that's in the vaccines. For everybody watching, the solution is in nature. It's garlic, it's ginger, it's lemon, it's hot tea, it's sunlight, it's positive attitude. Don't fall for the fear mongering and the panic that every time you turn on the news, it's panic, it's gonna get worse. It's not like that. It's not like that. This is all to panic you and scare you into cooperating and going along with their agenda. So I apologize for talking so long.
No, Cam, you got the floor. That's what I got you on here for, man. For you to give people the knowledge, because you're a knowledgeable brother. So that's why, we got you on here, man, because there's a lot of people that don't know, that are living in fear. And not to say that you're not supposed to take certain situations serious. If you got an underlying health condition, like I'm asthmatic, but like you mentioned ginger.
Yeah.
first thing my mother-in-law did, she sent over a big thing of ginger. Every morning I eat a cube of ginger and chew it for 30 seconds. Then I drink my hot tea with the chamomile and the una de gato, the cat's claw in it and stuff like that. I drink that. And I actually, man, I've been on that regimen now, even before this thing for 2 years. They had an asthma attack in a long time. So that stuff I've been doing on a regular, man. But you know what? I see an even bigger agenda, man. I see a tie-in like with the music. The music is pushing, you know, this opiate agenda on our kids right now, man. Yeah. Everything, like one of the biggest songs a few years ago was Percocet, Molly Percocet. Chase a check, never chase it, you know? And it was kind of like, wow, man, they're really going there. We got an opioid epidemic, man. I know, especially like in the Midwest and Texas, in these different places, man, there's a lot of brothers falling to the wayside. Yeah. And I look in New Orleans, what's happening right now, even with this coronavirus thing in New Orleans, it's like New Orleans seems like it's constantly under attack, man. Yeah. Do you have any? Do you know why they're attacking that part of the country? So we had the, we had the floods down there. Yeah. They say it's a bunch of brothers down there dying right now, man. It's like it's just wherever it's poverty at, man. It seems like it's just under attack.
Yeah, it's and more than just poverty. Poverty produces the most zealous warriors. Wherever the poverty is the most prevalent, you're gonna have people that give less and less, and once they conscious, like if they know that they've been banging and killing their own people for nothing, once you give them a real enemy that really they can identify that's really responsible for putting them in the condition they in, then they don't give a fuck about going at the real enemy. So they scared of them poverty areas because they produce the most zealous military, militant, conscious warriors that's not gonna give a fuck and that's not gonna stop. They don't got no punk in them. They don't got no reverse gear. We see that they willing to kill each other for nothing. So they willing to kill the real enemy once they know who the real enemy is. That's why they put that clamp on them communities like that.
Wow, man! Wow. Wow. So
they gotta poison them. They gotta poison them warriors. They gotta poison them warriors and keep them at each other's throat. Because if they get to focus on who the real enemy is, and because that's why we used to smoke Sherm to go retaliate, to go do missions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if we doing that Percocet and all that, like they know they got to keep us against each other because we don't mind dying, and we actually feel good going to die or do missions against a real enemy that we know hurt us. You know what I'm saying? So they see that these real Satans see that, so they got to keep us sedated and poisoned and at each other through.
Yeah, man. Wow, man. So let me ask you this, Cam. And we all know about you and Cube's history, so I'm not even gonna go through that. I'm not gonna talk about the actual fight or whatever. But after that happened, man, because you one of the most respected MCs in the streets out there, do you think it was some kind of convolution, man, some kind of like blackballing going on after that, man?
Yeah, definitely. It was. And I don't take it personal. Like I learned from white people and military people that not to be in your feelings. I still can deal with Q. I actually reached out for him on a few years ago on my Mutual Respect Black and Brown album, and we talked, and we was working on which song that he was gonna feature on. Like, so me and Cube is Gucci. We good. Like, we don't deal with each other, because it's just we grown. People naturally grow apart anyway. But it was definitely an agenda to separate us and separate any positive, strong, influential black male, heterosexual black male, to keep us from uniting and staying united. Because of course me and Q we was like this, you know what I'm saying? But just like Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad was like this. But once they see the power of that, the real enemies, the COINTELPRO, FBI, CIA, Department of Justice and all of that, they really go to work on us. They really at us. They know that we represent the voice. Hip hop, especially on the West Coast, represents the voice of them them wild, uncontrollable, zealot, rebellious riders that if they find out who the real enemy is, they're going to go all the way. They're going to go all the way. They'll be happy to go all the way. And that's who we represent. So my personal issue with Cube or anybody else, you know what I'm saying, it means nothing. That ain't shit. That was what it was at the time we was young. That was fucking 20 years ago or something like that. We generals now, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't got nothing but love and respect for Cube. I still take my little shots and jabs, but that's some personal shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just me on so personal in my feeling shit. Never fall for that. Like, Cube is not the enemy and he's not my enemy. We might have different views about certain things. Same with exactly. That's my bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he do, and he don't agree with a lot of stuff I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like the Jews, we know how to put all that shit on the back burner and shit and do business with each other and look at the bigger picture. So I learned from white people how to put my feelings to the side and still deal with my brothers and my sisters, regardless of what personal shit I feel like I might be offended by or whatever and shit. Like, we only here for a minute. We all we got as brothers and sisters, and we all we need. So I ain't in my feelings, man. I'm good.
Exactly, man. You know what? You mentioned COINTELPRO, man. You know, I've interviewed Freeway Rick Ross before, and a whole bunch of people, you know, associated, you know, in the whole freeway thing, man. Do you think that, I don't think that operation never ceased, man.
No, hell no. Like, it's just more wise and covert now. You know what I'm saying? They surveillance tactics and they technology is way more advanced now. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a private conversation. There's no private conversation. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's trying to sell dope or trying to do any kind of vices, black, brown, whatever, don't do it unless you're ready to just get aired all the way out, because everything is being surveyed, everything is being monitored. If you think you got away with this little drop and I did this little run and you didn't get away with it, you have been recorded. You being recorded. So that day is over with. You an idiot if you think you under somebody's radar. You are not under no CIA, FBI radar. They see everything. They see all of that. You know what I'm saying? So don't do nothing in private that you would be embarrassed or you know that you couldn't handle coming public, because that's all they just saving it for. You know how the feds work. They ain't finna just move on you like the police. They gonna sit back and collect a whole profile on your ass with videos.
Oh, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah.
For real, you know, it's just like with these satellites, man, with the facial recognition and all this stuff, man. It's just like, I'm pretty sure this conversation me and you having right now, even though it's the whole world go see and hear anyway, I'm pretty sure they looking at it already right now to see what we got going on, to see what we talking about. Yeah. I've even heard, man, like I got that Alexa in my house, right? And sometimes I hear the Alexa say, "What did you say?" And I'll be like, I wouldn't, I ain't gave no kind of command, but it's steady over there recording. Even the phones nowadays, this iPhone, it'll pop up every once in a while and be recording the whole conversation. And I'll be looking like, I didn't turn that on. What is it recording? So that means somebody somewhere listening.
Yeah. So you know that. So, but if you ain't dirty, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. But anybody that's kind of like straddling the fence and kind of doing some little white collar this or whatever you doing, they know about it. So that's why in a nation, it's about righteousness. Our righteousness is what sustains us. That scares Satan worse than anything. When they know that you clean, oh shit! So I can let my nuts hang because I'm not dirty. So I can talk all the shit I want. And I can talk about y'all and how dirty y'all are, and cool, like, you know what I'm saying. So most of us that be quiet, the reason why we quiet is because we know we got some dirt, and we don't want to draw no heat. We don't want to draw no attention and no heat from these people on us. Well, we don't got that kind of dirt, so we want all the smoke. Shouts out to who got that Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. They look. We want all that kind of smoke because we not dirty. We dirty, like everybody dirty, but we not. We clean enough to talk this shit that we talking because we live it and we paying the price. We sacrifice. We feeling the pain of not eating and not having the luxuries that everybody else get to have because we ride with Farrakhan, because we ride with this righteous discipline that everybody else is scared of.
Exactly. Let me ask you this, Cam. You a voice of the people, man. Will we ever see a podcast from Cam coming soon? I know we've been talking about some stuff, man. Like, what's happening?
Not only will we see a podcast coming soon, my podcast is going to be on Digital Soapbox Network, you know, owned and operated by my brother, Bigg Steele. Sure. So, so y'all that don't know, we got a podcast coming. I got a couple of them, but the main one is the campaign podcast. The campaign podcast that's going to be on Digital Soapbox Network. My brother Bigg Steele, you know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, that's the main popular media right now because everybody's on house arrest. Everybody on some self-quarantine and starving for, you know, content. And we bombarded with this fake-ass CNN news and all this bad. It shouldn't even be called news. It should be called bad news because every time you turn on the fucking TV is fear tactics and depressing shit and scare tactics and bad news. So with us, this is not bad news. Ours is actually the real Jesus Christ black man good news. You know, it's hardcore, it's rough to swallow, but it's actually in your favor. It's proving that you are going to be successful and that we going to win. And that's right here on Digital Soapbox podcast with my brother Bigg Steele. That's the same podcast platform that Gangster Chronicles and all that is on. So it's coming maybe in a couple of days. That's how close we are. So as soon as Bigg Steele, you know, as soon as we drop this, that Digital Soapbox Network campaign podcast should be right behind that.
For sure, man. Let me tell the people, man, where they can go hit you up at, because I know you got some of the best IG lives out there, man. What's your Instagram?
Instagram is West Coast Kam, one word, KAM. That's everything. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But we finna shut that down. I'm actually finna stop the IG lives and only make them available on the podcast, the Digital Soapbox Network podcast. So we want everybody to come over here and follow this real content. You know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, not dissing, but Instagram and Facebook are kind of censoring, not kind of, but they censoring this where we can't even talk this kind of talk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I don't, you know, whether it's Zuckerberg or whoever it is that be flagging us and suspending our accounts and all of that, we not with that. So that's why I'm taking this, you know.
Oh, you don't got flagged over there on Instagram before? You don't got flagged on the gram before?
Yeah, I didn't got, yeah, they didn't shut my page down. I had to appeal and all some extra shit just for telling the truth. So that's why I'm messing with you. That's why I'm messing with Digital Soapbox Network. So we ain't relying just on YouTube. We putting it everywhere. So, you know, not shitting on them because we on Instagram and Facebook and all of that and YouTube, but I'm on Digital Soapbox Network now. So follow Digital Soapbox Network and look for the campaign podcast.
Oh, for sure, because we working on something right now, bro, that's so big, we probably still about 2 or 3 months out, maybe even 4 months out to where we doing something, man, and where we, in a minute, the only way you gonna be able to find some of these videos, bro, we gonna still always mess with YouTube and Facebook and all that, but we gonna have a thing, man, for brothers that really wanna, you know, that may not be, so they don't be taking stuff down or trying to do the demonetized game and all that. We gonna have our own thing where we upload right there and you can go see it right there, and we ain't censoring nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just for the record, on some disclaimer stuff, everything that Cam say is not the views of Digital Soapbox Network or Bigg Steele or nobody else on that network. This is strictly Cam's. Like, Bigg Steele is just a non-biased journalist, and he'll try to make me feel good about my position. He don't necessarily agree with my position. My position is my position, but he just got enough respect to let me, you know, feel like my position is valuable. You know what I'm saying? We don't agree on everything.
A lot of what you say, brother, I do agree on. You actually taught me a lot. We actually have conversations, you know what I mean? Because I've had some of those same, you know, as a Christian man, there's been some stuff I've seen where I'm like, hold on, this don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother conversation though, man. But brother, I appreciate you, man. One love, man. And
Man.
we go connect. Let's get it in. The campaign coming soon.